Hello guys and welcome to Toribash Takeover. Today we've got a really special guest with us. He is probably really well known about everywhere in the Toribash community. It's Nuthug. And before we get into the Nuthug, I just want to let you know that we are going to have a giveaway. The giveaway information will be given in the stickied thread under news for Toribash Takeover Subscribe Now thread. So make sure you check back in on that and I'll let you know the details about the giveaway. But right now, here's Nuthug. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing really great. Glad to be here.
Awesome. We were talking earlier, and you were talking about your favorite mod. And to my surprise, Aikido wasn't even on that list. Do you mind going into what it is in mods that make you enjoy them?
Well, Aikido used to be my favorite mod, but I guess I just played it so much that it got kind of boring. You know, always the same stuff. People play kind of repetitive. So I always look for some kind of um, new stuff which I can test on. Probably my favorite mods are some mods where I'm really bad in, because I like playing stuff where I'm really bad in.
What's a good example of a mod that you are just terrible at?
Probably Wushu and Takeon probably. Takeon is probably one of my most favorite mods, but I'm not bad. I got good with the time, but I'm no super awesome Takeon player, at least compared to the people I used to know there.
Right. Were there any people in particular you wanted to look up to in a certain mod and never could play at their standard and level?
There's probably one person in every mod.
Give us a couple examples.
I never got best person in any mod.
Who's better than you in Aikido?
I don't know who's playing Aikido nowadays.
But back then.
Back then, Drakia did beat me in the World Championship back then, so I guess he's not bad. But there are not many, but they're pretty good players. If we go into Takeon or Takeon, probably the Alt guys was the Imsku and 0815 Rocker, which is probably the best Takeon player ever. In Wushu, there's Chemical and Otlov. I don't think I really dominated any mod ever. I was pretty decent in most of them. Probably in the top 5 in some of them, but never the best in my opinion. I played I'm too much of an all-rounder to become the best in one specific mod.
And I made a video very recently about alternative objectives, and it was actually you who had the top upvoted comment about how it's exactly how you learn to play. So can you go into that a little bit?
That's exactly how I learned to play, yes.
So how?
I'm so glad you made a video.
Oh, I appreciate it. What exactly did you do to make yourself get to where you are today and the variety of mods that you are really good at? Also, you lied to me. You said you would jump in the air and have a good time with me in Aikido, and you are trying very hard on me.
I wasn't trying very hard on you yet.
Well, then I'm really screwed.
I'm still warming up now, and later on I will turn into having a lot of fun, and then I will do some very stupid stuff.
Alright, so look forward, guys, to me winning only in the later matches. So what got you to be the level that you are at today? What do you think you do that other Toribash players don't, that brought you to such a high level of play?
I think I used to play like most people do now. They want to win, obviously, because you have to wait a long time if you lose, which is probably one of the bigger issues in Toribash. If there's a big server and you lose, you're basically done for an hour or so, which is kind of annoying if you want to actually play. That's why one of my favorite servers is Quick Aikido. So what I did to become really good is what exactly the thing you made in your video, alternative targets. winning conditions, basically. So I can demonstrate this in a match.
Is it gonna be to smash my face into the floor? Because you're doing a fine job of it.
No, basically, I used to play for the win and got bored after winning too much because it became really repetitive. I used the same 4 or 5 openers all the time, like most people do. Then I used to improvise a lot, but still, I went for the same wins. I lifted people up, pushed them out, or something like that. But then I used to change the way I play. Basically, I decide now before the game, I want to DQ you on the left side of the dojo. So I don't even know what you're doing next, but I'm working on the goal to DQ you on the left side of the dojo now.
Okay, is that your left or my left?
My left.
Okay. Is that what's gonna happen?
That's what I'm trying to do.
You know, I wouldn't doubt it.
If you screw up, I can't help it.
I will force myself to DQ
really
just to break.
Position now to DQ you on the left side, but I will try anyway, even though it would be easier to DQ you somewhere else.
That's a good point. Do you often make the harder decision just because it would be more fun to do, or would make you the better player if you can do it?
I do it most of the time nowadays because I'm hardly playing. So I try to set myself some goals to get into shape again. Because if I do the easy stuff, I'm not really getting into the hardcore gaming thing. You know, like doing exactly what I want to do. So most of the time, I'm setting myself some goal.
And you mentioned hardcore gaming in your training. I know for a fact that RAR is one of the hardest clans that trains for Clan League, and they just have crazy Rarberry servers that are filled with Rarberry fruit. What all are you doing? You don't have to tell me specifically like what everyone in the clan's doing or anything, but what do you guys do when you want to prove you are the best in Clan League?
We don't train that much. Basically, it's I just screwed up.
Darn it! I was like milliseconds away. I'm playing at like 16 frames per second,
but
so it's kind of difficult.
You see how I wanted to push you on that side, even though it would have been easier to do something else. But it gives you some kind of better control of your Tori if you put yourself into hard positions and then try to save yourself. Sometimes I just do stupid stuff which just gives you no chance of anything and try to come out with something. And sometimes you come up with really great stuff. Like what I'm doing now will be great. But yeah.
Interesting opener. I don't know if you're just completely in my head, but I don't feel like I'm in a comfortable position, even though...
Yes. People are not used to that, so they don't know what you do. It's kind of giving you... That was a smart thing to do. So I have a huge problem now.
That's...
to get onto your question,
yeah.
I don't think Raw is preparing that much for the league. It's mainly Greyhead who wants to practice all the time, but most people just show up for the league. The ghost is hilarious.
What do you think the chances are of you guys winning this thing?
I have split feelings about that. Like, really split feelings. I think we have some chance, but I wouldn't bet on
it. Who is your favorite for winning Clan League as of right now?
That's you guys, of course.
Alpha?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Just a second, I have to save this.
in Strangelove always was quoted for saying, in his mind, there was always two clans, RAR, or Alpha, then RAR, then everyone else. Do you feel the same way, or were there other clans that you felt were on the same level?
The same level. I'm always surprised that we are considered so good, to be honest. When we play together, it's like just having fun all the time. We don't play serious ever. At least I do always stupid stuff like this, and somehow get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel so pro. Subscribe to Toribash Takeover, everyone. I beat Nuthug once in Aikido when he threw the game.
That was a close match.
It was too close of a match for me to feel appropriate for someone who's played more games of Toribash than you.
Flew away all the time.
Yeah. I'm a Wushu player, man. I want a backwards helicopter in Aikido, and I'm just not allowed to.
You should do that.
Oh, okay. Well, let me load my move saber. And here, we'll do Odd Love's backwards helicopter as my opening move. Go!
That looks like an awesome move.
I don't know if I should work.
I should copy that.
It's a lot better in Wushu, but it has. I've never played it in Aikido. We're gonna see what happens.
Basically, I love to do stuff when everyone tells you that's a stupid idea, then I do it. Like
right.
Jumping or whatever.
You were quoted to me anyways saying if it's really stupid and you're doing it, you probably gain my respect from it.
That's probably true.
You lean towards people who are silly.
Yes, I love silly people.
And is that why you are in RAR now?
Yes. We are a bunch of silly people. We don't really like these official mods that much. We always make up stuff, like really random stuff. Did you ever play with negative engage height? Like starting in the ground?
Oh, no, I haven't actually. Is that when you bounce upwards?
Yes.
Oh, then yeah, I have. It was in a Lenshu 3 Game Masters tournament where that was the gimmick.
We basically made a catapult mod where you launch up and then have a judo match or whatever. That was really great.
Awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, we just make up stuff.
Can you start to lose?
Weird rules of Toribash.
Can you please start to lose? Having some real struggles getting up from this.
I believe so.
Go away!
People should know how to flip better in Toribash.
I had some... Like I said, I'm playing it with a lot of lag, but I was in a bit of an awkward situation. I think it was because of where my grabs were. I had a really good chest grab, but I wasn't feeling comfortable with the other grab.
It's not so good.
It happens. Regardless.
Yeah, we're getting astray of the questions.
Yeah. Who is, and this is another fan-based question, who is your favorite Pokemon?
I've seen that coming after having the same question with Kemper. And I have to say, I don't have a favorite Pokemon, but I have Pokemons I really don't like.
What are your top 3 dislike Pokemons?
Probably every Pokemon which has a number higher than 151, and Pikachu.
You don't like any newer Pokemon than Generation 1?
Yeah, I never played. I think I played, what was it called? Ruby and whatever that other thing was. Like a second generation, but...
Oh, second generation was Silver and Gold.
Silver and Gold, yeah. Nothing beats the first generation.
Oh man, there were so many hardcore Pokemon fans that'd be upset with you. But then everyone who isn't Pokemon fans would totally agree with you. Oh my goodness. I am already feeling really uncomfortable with this situation.
Yeah, I tend to create that feeling.
Okay, well that's a really good question. Let's go from there. How do you get people into poor situations in Aikido? What is your tactic? Why am I so screwed even though we haven't even really played the game?
I don't know. Maybe because you suck.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Nah, I just tend to go really low, and I go with the flow of your opener. Like, if you go to the left, I let you go to the left, and then I do my moves. So I let you go into the position, and then I get you out of the position. So all your joints are already maxed out in the movement, and you can't stretch anymore. And then I put some more pressure on you. That's probably the basic idea.
So getting really, really low and utilizing the opponent's momentum is really your tip.
Yeah, I'm always using the momentum of the opponent. The most evil thing you can do is play passive against me. Because I'm really screwed if you play passive against me.
That's good to know.
If you give me no pressure to work with, then I'm more or less useless.
Well, I will definitely be doing that now. That's good. What are your tips to people who want to be more like Nuthug in single player?
In single player?
Because everyone wants to be a Nuthug in the replay. Everyone wants to be a Tori legend.
I think it's harder to become a Tori legend nowadays. I mean, so much stuff has already been done. If it comes to replays, multiplayer, or whatever, drinking, parkour, everything has already been done. When I used to play, that stuff was new. It was just introduced, and
oh, good.
It was just introduced, and I was pretty decent at new stuff because I always tried new stuff. And the biggest tip I can give to new replay makers: never be satisfied with any of your replays. I can't remember any replay I'm really satisfied with, like, at all. I always have something complaining about. Even with my most famous replays, I'm never satisfied with them.
Fair enough.
Nah, I'm never satisfied.
So what makes you stick around Toribash? What's still in it for you? What do you still have to gain outside of making my texture set and making some money off of me?
Basically, my clan, probably. Raw is such a great clan, such great people that I just want to have contact with them. I don't have complete contact with all of them, obviously, but there's like the old core, like from old days, and I just like spending time with these guys. I even met some of them in real life already. Basically because I love traveling the world, and when I'm traveling to a new place, I check if there are any Toribash players I know there, and then I try to hook up with them. Not hook up with them, like...
No, totally hook up with them.
Yeah, I totally want to hook up with
them. And I think this is the most appropriate time to ask this question possible. How did you get the name Nuthug? Oh, goodness gracious.
It's a funny story, I guess.
It's not an incredibly appropriate story, so I figured I would at least...
It's a completely appropriate story.
I figured I'd ask now, since we're talking about hooking up with people.
Yeah. To all the new people, Raw hasn't always been called Raw. Let's start like this. It used to be called FCC, which means Fighting Cock Clan. And our only rule was to have a sexually offensive name. So that basically explains all the names like Dr. Strangelove, Mantrain, Bend Over, Nuthug. But my original nick wasn't Nuthug. I suggested someone else to have Nuthug, who just joined the clan, but he decided to be called Cockrocket. But I liked the name Nuthug so much that I just stick to it. My original nickname was Titty Monster.
Fantastic. This interview just went from regular to not suited for work or kids.
That was a kind of fun time, but I think it was Ducky who got problems with parents, when browsing a forum where the nicknames were Mad Saxhor and Cock Rocket. So basically, the admins wanted us to change our clan name and the super offensive nicknames like Cock Rocket and Mad Saxhor, but the slightly offensive name stayed, like Nuthug and Bend Over, Strange Love, whatever there is.
Fair enough. Well,
that's how I got my name. And it's a really great name. If you sign up to any page and try to use the nickname Nuthug, it's never taken.
Yeah, I never have that issue with HXCVBQ IMO either.
I would have guessed so, but I assume if you have a regular nick, it's kind of a problem nowadays because everything is already taken. I'm running into problems with you here now.
You're running into problems with me. That's funny. I am feeling quite the opposite situation going on right now. I am feeling like DQing is very relevant to me.
Because I have to extend my leg there. I hate extending legs. It's nothing you do in Aikido. You don't extend a leg.
Hear that, guys? Pro tip. Try not to extend the leg in Aikido.
It just... you lose all your grip because you jump up weirdly, and it's no good thing to do. If you want to jump up, okay, but normally you don't want to jump somewhere.
Well, now all of the tips you've ever given to me in the past about Aikido are wrong, because I was only just jumping straight into the air, hoping to God I would pull something out of my hat for it. Which works.
I will jump up and show you how it's
Which works really well when you're better than the opponent, but if you're not, in this case, I'm really not, it doesn't work too well. Will you be doing any jumping up during Clan League?
If I play Aikido, I will maybe do it. Maybe. I like doing weird stuff, but we take Clan League somewhat serious because we are defending the title now.
And who, if either of us wins this year, Raw or Alpha will be the only clan to have won 2 Clan Leagues.
Ah, right, you already have won. And you've got your own color, right?
That's correct. We are Alpha Imperial.
And we've got, like, nothing.
Nope. But in our defense, you admit that like your absolute favorite #1 player who's ever played Toribash was Kamiko. Am I right?
It was Kamiko. He's some crazy bastard.
Yeah, I really hope he returns back to Alpha. I mean, he's in the clan, but
so great.
He last played sometime this year against Tiaikux, who is an unbelievable player in himself.
Who is?
Tiaikux?
Oh, yeah.
He's a bit of a troll nowadays, but he was always really good at lots of mods.
We considered to have him join Raw.
Yeah, he told us that.
When he left Alpha for some time, or when he died for inactivity or whatever, we invited him. I'm jumping. I actually have this move from Hamper.
Yeah, I actually, when I was playing Hampa, he did this a lot against me, except for he never grabs.
Yes, I modified it a bit.
Well...
because I like a little bit more of control than Hampa.
Yeah. I think you've reached higher pinnacles in skill level than Hampa.
Don't say that. He's cool.
Hampa's cool. No, I love Hampa.
Huge problem there now.
Alright, we've been kind of interviewing for quite a while, so I really want to leave you just with one last question that you can answer for as long as you want.
Okay.
People want to be the next RAR member, the next Alpha member, just an absolute amazing player, and you've gotten there, and you've been there for years longer than anyone else has. What are the tips, steps, and mods, and all of that you really recommend people trying, playing, practicing, and how do they practice it, etc.? Make people more like Nuthug.
So you want to know what you play to become more like Nuthug?
Or excellent players in general.
From my experience, Wushu players tend to be really great. Like, not all Wushu players, but those people who really understand the game and do comebacks immediately, and not just comebacks, but really get a position from comebacking, if that's a word. Like Chemical or Oddlove, who really strike in Wushu, and even if you hit them, they just come back and hit you even harder, and you have no chance of hitting them. But basically, if you want to be a Nuthug, you have to understand the game physics. It's not really playing one mod or playing single player. I basically started as a multiplayer person and became rather good at most multiplayer mods. Then I started at Taekyon, then I moved on to Judo, played some Wushu, then I didn't start a whole Aikido hype, but I was one of the first persons to like play Aikido all the time. Then I played Sambo. I don't know how many mods there are, but I think I played most of them and got really competitive in all of them. So you get a feeling about all the movements you need from all the different mods. It was a close one.
It was really close. I thought I could get your wrist.
Really, yeah.
Is there any mods in particular, if someone's trying to learn the game through multiplayer, that people should probably cater to playing a little bit more?
I don't know about mods nowadays, but I think Taekyon is. I think people are too good nowadays for you to learn the game properly in multiplayer. I mean, back in my days, people sucked, so you could have many mistakes in your game and still get away with it. Today, you just get 5 dismemberments in the chest area, like get a boom hit or whatever. Maybe in the beginner servers, I don't know. But as a beginner, I would start with some low turn frame mod, like Taekyon, so you have a lot of time to control yourself. Wushu is probably too long in turn frames, and people got too good in it. So if you started out, you just fall around. You need some basic knowledge, and you probably get that from playing, basically, like playing a lot of different stuff.
A lot of people get to a middle tier of play and then feel themselves plateauing and not reaching the same levels as RAR players and whatnot. What do you tell people that have been playing the game for a while but still haven't hit that level that they're really looking for?
Basically, I think people like that might stick to one mod too much. They are too focused on one aspect of the game. I mean, every mod needs different skill set, basically. Maybe even change to single player, because you really understand how the joints work together there. In multiplayer, it's hard to tell one certain mod or something. I don't know if you can say it like that, like play this mod to become good. I always did. It was some kind of plateau thing with me. I played one mod for a time, became good at it, and then I started playing a mod I was completely bad in, like completely horrible.
Like Wushu.
And then, like Wushu. And then I played Wushu for some weeks because it challenged you in a completely different skill set. And when I became somewhat decent Wushu, I changed to the Nuts mod, where I was horrible in. And I just kept doing that until there were no mods left.
Wow.
And that's the point where I basically went into single player to fulfill all the ideas I had about replays back then. I don't have that many replay ideas anymore.
Well, you have one colossal one, but I think it would take forever to do.
Yeah, it would probably take, I don't know, a few weeks or so. Like the whole project.
I'm thinking I need to power abuse and use my force win ability if I want to pull out of this one.
Oh, sorry. I should jump more or something.
No. That's fine. Well, thank you so much for your time, Nuthug. I think everyone at Toribash Takeover was really excited to hear that we would get to hear from you. I'm sure everyone loved watching my ass get kicked because I think it was a comment that I didn't let Hampa win a game. And I'm
I
sorry
let
about
you-
that, Hampa, if
I
you're
did
listening.
let you win a game.
What? I won one game. I won one. It was because you gave it to me.
Yes, somewhat.
But we'll switch the mod to Wushu when the cameras are off, and we'll see if the story's a little different.
Last time in Wushu, I had a streak of 5 or 6.
All right, well,
But
that's
not
a
against you.
that's a challenge accepted, everyone. And I hope you guys had an awesome time listening to Toribash Takeover. This is HXCBBQ IMO with Nuthug.